Hello again everybody, this is MrNoobTubeGamer back again with yet another video. And this video is going to be a discussion video regarding whether or not Titanfall 2 is worth getting over Battlefield 1. So, this isn't going to be whether or not Titanfall 2 is worth buying. It's not going to be that kind of video. It's going to be whether or not, if you have to decide between which game, should you get Battlefield 1 or Titanfall 2, which one should you get? The reason why I'm making a comparison between these two games is because these are the two big first-person shooter games made by EA. So I guess this is for EA fans, people who are fans of EA first-person shooters. And if you're having a hard time deciding, oh, should I get Battlefield 1 or should I get Titanfall 2? And from a Battlefield 1 player's perspective, I would say, obviously, Battlefield 1 is worth getting over Titanfall 2. Only because of the fact that Battlefield 1, I feel, is a lot more fun than Titanfall 2. It's a lot less bland and boring than Titanfall 2. I know Titanfall 2 has the whole Titan thing, but Battlefield 1 kind of trumps that with the air combat and the tanks and the beautiful maps. Because Titanfall 2's maps don't look that beautiful to me. I just don't feel like Titanfall 2 is worth buying over Battlefield 1. Especially since they're both priced at $60. I don't feel like Titanfall 2 is worth $60, but I feel Battlefield 1 is worth $60. At least it's definitely... You definitely get your money's worth a lot more compared to Titanfall 2. Like, I'm not going to try to knock Titanfall 2, but I just feel like Titanfall 2 is just... I mean, I played the multiplayer, and I don't feel like it's worth $60. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's horrible. I'm just saying I don't think it's actually worth buying for $60. Or at least over Battlefield 1. I don't feel like if you had the choice between getting one game or the other, you should get Titanfall 2 and not play Battlefield 1. I think if you're going to get Titanfall 2, go ahead by all means. I'm not going to try to tell you to not buy Titanfall 2 like I've tried to tell people not to buy Infinite Warfare. But I am going to tell you that if you plan on buying Titanfall 2, play Battlefield 1 first. But Battlefield 1 is just outright amazing. It's a great game. You see, Titanfall 2 is futuristic, and I think the whole futuristic first-person shooter genre is just oversaturated at this point. Similar to how 10 years ago there were way too many World War II first-person shooters, whether it was Call of Duty, Medal of Honor, all these other games. Like, literally so many games were based off of World War II, like, it was ridiculous. Like, it seems like people had nothing else to come up with than World War II shooters. But Battlefield 1 took a different perspective, and it takes place in World War I, which hasn't really been covered at all. If you guys remember my Valiant Hearts review, it was a World War I based strategy game, or whatever the fuck it was. I didn't like it. And I feel like, I said in that video, I think that we need to have a first-person shooter based off of World War I. I said that two and a half years ago now. And I am very, very, very happy that that finally came true, because you guys have no idea how hyped I was. Not even, like, before Battlefield 1 was even announced, the whole rumor mill was spreading that, oh, that next Battlefield game is going to take place in World War I. I'm like, thank God. Holy shit, this can't be happening, because that's, like, one thing I always wanted. I've discussed having a Battlefield game, or just not even a Battlefield game, a first-person shooter based off World War I, and I did say that it will make money. So I was right. I was dead on the money about that. This Battlefield 1 was definitely a success, and I just feel like compared to Titanfall 2, it's just leagues better. Because, I mean, it's in terms of the futuristic first-person shooter, I feel like it's been there, done that. I mean, Halo revolutionized the whole futuristic first-person shooter genre, but I feel like it's just been played to death, especially with Call of Duty. The last 3 or 4 Call of Duty games have all taken place in the future. The reason why Ghost wasn't that bad, like, in terms of futuristic, is because it was boots on the ground. compared to the new ones where it's like wall jumping and all this fucking nonsense. And in Advanced Warfare, you're like on fucking steroids. You're just jumping in the air and all this fucking shit. Like, Black Ops 3's movement system was directly copied from Titanfall. I will say that. Black Ops 3's movement system was completely copied. Like, Advanced Warfare was just a fucking roided up mess. Like, I guess if I can describe Advanced Warfare's movement system, I would say it's like Titanfall's on roids without wall jumping, because the wall jumping was fucking high as fuck in Advanced Warfare. But literally in Black Ops 3, they copied it directly from Titanfall. So, if you hated Black Ops 3's movement system, and you hated, if you hate Infinite Warfare's movement system, if you played the beta, I would say, without a doubt, do not buy Titanfall. Do not even touch it if you hate Black Ops 3's movement system and Infinite Warfare's movement system, because it's the exact same thing. So with that said, I'm going to say Battlefield 1's a lot more unique than Titanfall 2. The first Titanfall game was very, very, very underwhelming. I don't think Titanfall really needed a sequel, and I don't feel like it's worth $60. I feel like Battlefield 1's worth a lot more. You get your money's worth a lot more with Battlefield 1 than with Titanfall 2. I'm just going to say that right here. I know a lot of people might disagree with me on this, but I feel like Battlefield 1 is definitely worth it more. So I'm going to just touch upon the single-player campaign. I feel like the single-player campaign in Battlefield 1 is leagues better than Titanfall 2's. Just because the first Titanfall didn't even have a campaign, and you can tell they added a campaign in Titanfall 2 just to slap a campaign on to be like, oh, we actually have single-player. But Battlefield 1's single-player was surprisingly well, considering the track record Battlefield games have with single-player modes. Their single-player modes are usually shite. They usually suck ass. Like, I love Battlefield. I think Battlefield 4 was great. I think Battlefield 3 was amazing, but look, the single-player games were very, very, very underwhelming. You can't even deny that they weren't really that good. But with that said, I'm going to say again and again and again that Battlefield 1, if you had to choose between the two, Battlefield 1 is the game to get. I'm not trying to say do not buy Titanfall, but I would say that there's so many other games you could get besides Titanfall that you'd probably have more fun with. If you had to choose between, like, Titanfall 2 and Suicide, obviously I'd tell you get Titanfall 2. Like, it's not bad. I don't think Titanfall 2 is bad enough for, like, it's like horrible and you'd hate it, like, after you first get it. But I feel like Titanfall 2 is the kind of game where it's like, okay, you know, it was fun, but I want to play something else. And I feel like that happens a lot slower with Battlefield 1, especially since the maps are more beautiful looking. And the actual warfare in the game is actually a lot more fun than in Titanfall 2's. So yeah, I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna end it there because I feel like I've pretty much discussed everything at this point. So with that said, I'm going to end the video right here. Let me know what you guys think. If you agree with me, disagree with me, whatever. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later.